Hello. What's going on, guys? It's Ern, back again. Late night unboxing. 1 week from my next show. So, got a lot to do. A lot to price out. A lot to get set up. Honestly, a lot to get sold before next weekend. Things are piling up. As usual, thank you for the support. Hope everyone's been well lately. I have been getting hit up a lot more about buying collections and trading sealed product into collections. And so if you have anything, I am buying, always buying, trading. Hit me up on Instagram and maybe work something out. I primarily only collect and sell Japanese stuff, but if it's English, mega modern, I'll take a look because that stuff usually moves fast. Okay, this is a pretty big shipment. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I have no idea if I'm going to show it all, but I'm going to get started and then we can see where we go. So today I'm wearing a body cam. I got this body cam to record footage of the baby and the dogs around the house. It's like this necklace that you wear. I'll show it off another time. It's a necklace that you wear. You put your phone on it, and it's pretty sturdy, kind of cool. So it uses MagSafe for your iPhones. So I'm using my iPhone, and I kind of like it. It's not bad. I am kind of forced to look down a lot, which I don't like. First card that comes out. So I sell these. I buy them, I sell them, I trade them. Giratina is a great card right now. People really enjoy it. I think I mentioned before. Diamond and Pearl Giratina, I was never really a fan growing up because it wasn't really my thing. It wasn't around when I was growing up with red and blue and gold and silver. And so I also think it just looks like a giant centipede, which is kind of weird and gross, but whatever. Great card. However, I've had plenty of them in the collection and the inventory, and I continue to acquire them because they sell well. Real quick, you can see parts of my display. I won't go through it all, but you can either admire it or also be disgusted at it like I am, because it's just kind of messy. I'm kind of scatterbrained. I try my best to get organized, but I think part of my ability to thrive is some level of controlled chaos, where I know things are kind of messy, but also kind of organized. I'm not sure if any of you are like that, but this is the mind of a hobbyist cards dealer. You don't have enough time to get things organized. And when I do have time, I don't spend it on the right things, like organizing. I spend it on buying or looking up cards instead of organizing and making the business a little bit more efficient. But you know what? I think that's okay, because that's my approach. And as long as you find the approach that works for you and you're okay with it, you'll be fine. I won't go through this box because I know what it is. Throw that aside. I think I've mentioned this before, but one of the things that I buy is Japanese bulk. Oh my gosh, it's sleeved. Japanese hollows. And, it's not really a great secret. But, I like sharing information, and that's how I learned, and that's, how I hope that other people will learn. You can buy these similar to how people buy English bulk hollows for pretty cheap. I would say 20 cents, 15 cents each, depending on where you look. I'm really not going to go through this because it honestly is just all the same stuff. And in the West, it is very easy to sell for, I think I sold my last few batches of 50 and 100 for 50, let's see, 50, 100 for like $50, which is about 50 cents each. So you can do that math. Calculate it yourself, see if it's worth it for you. I don't think it's really a secret, but it is one of those things where you have to do the work in order to make it worth it, and I have a way of doing that, so works for me. Okay, this is the fun part of buying from Japan. It comes in all this stuff in all these folders, and you have to tear these folders up one by one to see what's in them. Let's get started. So I have about another week for the next show that I'm doing. It's a pretty big show. If you're unaware, I live in the Bay Area. There's a handful of shows in the Bay Area and Sacramento. I think this one is one of the better ones, from what I understand. It's the Concord East Bay Card Show. 2-day show, and the last time I went, it was a 1-day show, but I did incredibly well as a first-time noob vendor. A lot of stuff moved. I did well over my expectations. What is going on here? Exceeded my expectations by a mile. It was great. And, you know, I think one of the things I learned early, if you're going to be a vendor, you're going to sell stuff, I would definitely, sorry, not a vendor. If you're going to be someone who wants to sell cards and be a part of the community, there's no better experience than being a vendor. So I got a bunch of Snorlaxes. These are going to go in the sale binder. These will sell very quickly. Great pickup. If you're a vendor, you learn a lot. You learn the ins and outs of buying. You understand what people like to buy. You understand how to sell. Understand what sells well. It just is a whole different experience than, I think, you know, if you're always selling online, like eBay and TCG Player, the thing I've realized is, like, you don't get any, like, interaction. And it's that interaction that really allows you to understand, like, okay, I know how to build my business better. But if you're just selling to people, unsleeved, really? So this is a classic collection Ivysaurs. I think that's a great pickup by me. I have a couple stories related to that from my last show. You learn a lot, and the experience is fascinating. You know, I remember at the last show, this guy comes up to the booth at my table, and he's asking me, "Hey, do you have any loose 151 packs?" And then I'm looking at him like, I have literally like 100 151 English packs right here. I was selling for like $6 or $7 or something like that. And he's like, no, not English. Do you have 151 Japanese packs? And I'm looking at him like, what? Like, why are you looking for loose 151 Japanese packs? Here's another Giratina. And it dawned on me that this is someone who legitimately goes around and wants to buy loose packs, loose Japanese packs. So if you're unaware, especially in non-high class sets, you should never, ever, ever buy loose Japanese packs unless you truly trust the source. So it's like an LGS or a friend who like doesn't weigh packs, because Japanese packs can absolutely be weighed, and the top hit can be weighed in a box or weighed from the box. Box is opened, you weigh the packs, etc., and the rest of the packs are left to be duds. So I'm talking to this guy, and you know, my head, I'm like, dude, I honestly need to explain to you how this stuff works, because it would be painful for me to hear or see someone who is buying loose packs of 151, which, by the way, at that time, the box of 151 was like 180. So it's not cheap. A loose pack, there's 20 packs in that box. A loose pack would be what, $10? $15, depending on the vendor. Okay, this is a stack of Magikarps. So I actually ended up skipping Triple Beat on release. I cannot believe they just threw that in. Of course they did that. These are Japanese Magikarps from the Japanese Paldea Evolve set, which is Triple Beat. I didn't actually open too much of that, and I actually do not have any of these in my personal collection at all. So that's going to be nice. My thinking with that card, selling in person, is it's really expensive still in English. Japanese is a cheap alternative. I think people like alternatives, and so I think I'll make pretty good bucks on that one. Anyway, so this guy, he's asked me for these loose packs. I didn't have it in me to just let him walk away and not understand. So I spent like 5 minutes talking to him, like, hey man, you really gotta understand something about Japanese stuff. One, you should never buy loose packs. That's actually probably the number one rule, with the exception of maybe like high class sets. But even then, high class sets typically have had what people will do is sometimes you can't weigh high class sets, right? Because the weights are too close to each other, since they have multiple hollows and hits in them, and then the top hit is usually a secret rare or whatever, and that pack could weigh the same as another pack that doesn't have the secret rare because of the hollows and foils and that kind of thing. Anyway, what people will do though is take 10 high class boxes, you start opening one, and you open it until you find the secret rare. And then you shelve you take those packs and you put them to the side, and you open up the next box and you keep doing that. And obviously, by doing that, you're not going to get a bunch of packs that are duds, 9 out of 10, but chances are you're going to open maybe half and find the secret rare. So when you buy high class sets or high class packs, what will happen is Charmeleon, this is for classic collection. I think these are great, by the way, for binders. And they're cheap and the card looks awesome. That's what happens when we buy high class sets. As I explain this to him, there's a feeling I get. I'm like, okay, I feel good that I'm helping him understand that, Japanese stuff, just, you got to be careful. And it was through that moment that I realized, as I'm talking to him, this is someone who's involved in Japanese stuff, he likes Japanese stuff, but he has no idea any of this basic information about it. So I started asking him, okay, so are you part of Discords? Who do you watch on YouTube? What do you do on Facebook? And just the standard, Japanese collectors and people who are involved in Japanese, we typically, I say we just generally speaking, but we kind of roll together in the same spots, certain Facebook groups, certain Discords, certain YouTubers. There's not really, I don't know. I have not found a lot of Japanese enthusiasts who just like Japanese and they're not involved with any community or they don't watch content. Lo and behold, though, this guy actually does none of that. He isn't on Facebook. He doesn't watch YouTube. He understands that there's Discords and stuff, but he just likes Japanese stuff. And it dawned on me that I had these strong assumptions about buyers and Japanese collectors, and the list goes on and on and on, that it wasn't until I met someone in person at this show that I realized that you never get that experience online. You're not going to find someone on eBay who's going to talk to you about this stuff, who you can help educate and you can build that relationship with. That is the power of vending. You're going to meet so many people, and it will help break down any assumptions you have about the community and people who buy cards. These are some ARs I like. Ooh, another Magikarp, more Snorlaxes. This is one of my favorite artworks, but unfortunately people don't really... He doesn't get a lot of love. Yeah, when you're a vendor, you just come across a variety of different people, and it really breaks down any assumptions or disproves, certain assumptions you had about who buys cards and who gets involved in trading and who gets involved in buying certain things. And I think that experience with this guy was really eye-opening. So there's another part of the story. As I have educated him, I've spent probably like 5 or 10 minutes with him at this point, just talking about this stuff, like making sure, like, hey, I really hope you understand. Please don't buy loose packs. I did a good deed. I didn't do it because I was going to get anything out of it. I did it because, it would feel bad if he was duped. And he comes around like an hour later, and the guy buys like $300 worth of stuff from my table. Just not even, I didn't have any 151. It was slabs. It was singles. It was stuff that the first time around he didn't even bother. He kind of just flipped through. The second time around, he comes around and he said he really appreciated what I did for him and explained it to him, in that he had never really been in that position, he had never really had anyone like explain that to him. And so, it's partially a feel-good story. It's partially a, don't make assumptions about people and buyers. But also, I think for me, this is why I like vending. You never know what you're going to come across. Jeez, how many of these did I buy? I thought I bought 2. And I don't know. I don't want to say I live for that. I really enjoy that. Being able to build a connection with people who you would have never probably would have met just by selling and trading and buying cards. It's really fascinating. And that's kind of why I've signed myself up to keep vending. There's not a lot of things you can do that will replace that. And this is why we're here. Well, sort of. This deserves some VIP treatment. So, I've been eyeing this card for a long time. This is going to be sold. My intention with this card is to sell it, because I got it at a price that I could not say no to, and if the limited time that I'm going to have it in my hands is totally worth it. If you're unaware, this is the Charizard EX from Fire Red Leaf Green in English. In Japanese, it comes from a starter deck. It is look at that. The Japanese texture is different than this English. You can see a swirl right here. Kind of hard to see. Decently hard to find, rare. I would say fairly scarce as well. There's some demand for this. I will probably end up selling. I will probably end up selling this at the show, and get some pretty good margin on it over what I paid. That's a great card, but still doesn't stack up to my Plasma Gale Lugia. Why do I have scissors? I was not expecting it to just pop out of that oh gosh. Or this. I was not expecting this to pop out either. So this was a purchase I made for someone. It sounds like they have backed out, and so this is going to be sold at the show. This is the 15th anniversary Pikachu. Very unique artwork, very unique. Very unique artwork. Why did they get a 9? Let's find out. Wait, let's see. I think the centering on the front is why it got a 9. You can see. Beautiful card. I've always wanted one of these in a 10 in my collection, but maybe this doesn't sell, and maybe I decided to keep it. We'll see. Great card. Along with the Zard. This shipment, by the way, was delayed 4 or 5 days. And part of that, geez, this is such a mess, sorry. I really don't like looking at the mess. Part of it was, even though I have registered with customs, this package was pulled aside, and they had some questions. And I think the reason why they had questions is because the amount of stuff that's in it. But yeah, this is one of the nicer slots I've seen packaged. This is from my buddy Adrian. He wanted me to buy it. I think it's for his collection. Temple of Anger, Regigigas. Very nice. I've actually never seen this artwork. Granted, I don't follow Diamond and Pearl that much, so that probably explains why. I like how they included these. And you know what's weird? I bought more stuff this time around. It came in the same size box, and there's way less packaging, way less bubble wrap. Kind of insane. Okay, let's keep going. Jeez, I bought a lot of slabs, didn't I? This is another slab for Adrian. I think it's a Metacham. I'll put this aside for him. What have we here? Anyway, for next week's show, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. I have a lot more inventory this time around. Last time I spent a lot of time bringing and sorting through $1 to $5 singles. I'm not doing that as much this time. It's way too much work. What? Dude, please tell me this is not going to be bad. Dude. Let's look. This is a Team Magma's Groudon EX. In Japanese, there's a first edition symbol. I believe there's also unlimited for this. Also in Japanese, it comes with the cracked ice pattern. I have a 10 right there, actually. Great flex, man. Oh no. That was definitely not shown in the pictures. Son of a gun. Well, that is the game that you play and the price you pay with Bai. But you know what? I'm still going to submit this because cards in this era, XY, even black and white, there's a good chance that it could 10. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? I had to take care of something and paused. Let's keep going. So yeah, the show's coming up. There'll be far less dollar singles, way more slabs, way more vintage, Japanese vintage. Here are more V's that I bought for cheap. So one of the things I'll call out with these Japanese V's, there is a version of V's that are non-hollow. And they are not exactly easy to spot. And V's, as you probably know, if you're in the West, in English, they only are hollows. There are no non-hollow versions. So that's something that be on the lookout for if you're planning on buying and flipping and selling these. You know, an English buyer who buys that stuff, who gets a non-hollow version, is probably going to think it's a fake, or they're probably going to be pissed that they got non-hollow because you didn't tell them. So, just a little FYI. This is a Tagbolt Gengar Mimikyu GX Rainbow. I am quite sad at the current state of rainbows. Well, not sad if you're buying, sad if you're selling. I'll condition this later, but it should be in your mint. Beautiful card. Seems like the hype for hyper rares has calmed down a lot. Or actually, it never really was that hot, that high. I think people just realize that there's way too many rainbows and they're just not interesting. What could this be? Vending wise, I have that show next week, and then in May, I'm going to a tournament for Grand Archive, which is the anime card game. And then I think in June I'll be vending again. So what is... Oh, see, they did that. Okay, well... Gengar from Dark Phantasma. I think it's from Lost Origin? Brilliant Stars? I don't remember. I do have those types of cards for the binders, just because I think they look nice and also they sell quickly. I'll probably price that between, like, I don't know, $7 and $10 or something. The CHRs and the ARs just look nice and they stand out, and they're a lot easier to sell. Just like this is pretty easy to sell too, raw. I will also condition this later. Ugh. As I think through my business, one of the pieces of feedback I got late last year was, what parts of this card business can you make it more worth it for your time? Meaning, how do you scale revenue by spending the same amount or less time? And I think the challenge I've had so far over the last few years is, moving over from like a collector to someone who's shifting all that into inventory and selling it all. I think the challenge I've kind of had is I really like to keep everything. And, I think if I didn't fundamentally enjoy a lot of the stuff that I have, I wouldn't be selling. Sounds kind of weird. I'm selling because I've gotten to the point that I've enjoyed everything. And I'm starting to realize, like, well, what do I want to trim down, and what do I want to actually enjoy moving forward? And so in a weird way, collecting has kind of taught me, if I really want something in the collection, I should figure out how to sell. I should figure out how to make room for it. I should figure out how to get rid of the stuff that I just kind of sort of like. And with my business, I really don't even like saying it's a business. Technically it is, I operate as a business, pay my taxes, all that stuff. I don't like thinking of it that way, because I really would not be doing this if I felt like it was a slog, and if I felt like every input I had to do led to revenue and money. But if those inputs were like very tedious and like mundane, I couldn't do it. Is this another? Oh, dude, please don't. Oh, I'm gonna bend that. Please don't. Sometimes I wonder. Also, what is this tape? What is this tape? So for my business, where I came to, I bought a lot, and I got to the point where, you know what, I should probably stop spending so much of my personal money and probably start structuring my purchases and my inventory in a way where I'm spending. I really need to check this one out. I'm not just pissing away money. I calculate margins. I know what the cost is for everything. If I don't like it, I sell it, make room for something else. Really, these days, everything I buy is inventory. That's kind of how it's set up. But who knows how long I'll hold that inventory for? Hopefully, this didn't get damaged. It's fine. And there's some art. Let me just show you a little bit. This is nuts. All of this, and I still don't think it's organized. There's an art in knowing how to, Marie Kondo. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Marie Kondo. This is a Japanese woman who got popular because she had an organization technique. It's basically just like trim everything. Everything needs a place. Don't acquire too much stuff. Essentially the opposite of this room. But there is an art in knowing that, like, do I really want this thing? Do I need this thing? Well, cards, you don't really need any of it, but do I really want it? And I think I struggled with that for a long time. I had a very addictive approach to, like, acquiring and buying, and, now I have, like, mini goals. Here's a mini goal. Every Scarlet and Violet booster box. Yeah, simple. Sort of. I also have like one, every single one you see there's like 2 or 3 of the same ones down there, plus some other ones. Anyway, some goals, right? It's helpful, keeps you grounded, keeps you working towards something. And I think there's a lot of people who accumulate so much. And I mentioned this in the other, video. They have no way of, they don't know how to make their money back. It's just money that they're sitting on that may go up, may go down. And if you really want to run a cards business, is this card just bent to hell or what? You got to figure out how to trim. Trim. No, it's not. I need to sleeve this. And I struggled with that for a long time. I bought everything. Like a lot of people. Modern. Newest set. Packs and packs and packs. And now I'm proud that I don't do that. And I've kind of caught up with, playing with house money. But that took a long time. It was hard. And, one of the lesson I learned early. Oh, sorry, I actually did not learn this early. I learned this a handful of years in. It's a lesson that I like to explain to people where there's a couple parts to it. One is $1 equals $1. What that means is whether I buy this Team Up Elite Trainer box for $300, which is what I paid for it at the time, or I buy this Team Magma and Team Aqua's Kyogre and Groudon, or I buy the equivalent amount of either in booster packs, it is always, that dollar is still $1 that's spent. It's the same money. It's $300, it's $300, it's $300. There's no difference just because you bought something different in the money that is spent. And I think a lot of the time when people buy stuff like modern product, when people buy stuff to open
and they don't understand that they're losing value. They're losing that money as soon as they open up that stuff. They kind of give themselves a free pass on like, oh, that's just a booster box. That's just a booster pack. That's just, at the end of the day, if you only have $100 to spend on cards, it doesn't matter what you buy. If you've spent it, it's gone. That money's gone. You've spent that money. And I think that was a mentality shift for me early. How many of these did I buy? Where I had to stop buying booster boxes. I had to stop buying booster packs. I had to stop ripping. I had to stop just like acquiring things just for the sake of it, because at the end of the day, I was spending money. And that was money that could have gone to better sealed product. That was money that could have gone to better booster boxes, better, whatever it is. And so that's the first part of the lesson. A dollar equals a dollar. The other part that I learned, which is somewhat related, is 4 quarters don't equal a dollar. Now, what does 4 quarters don't equal a dollar means? What does it mean? Let's say you have this EV Heroes booster box, and it's selling like mad at $400. And then you have, what's something that's equivalent? That's a good example here. This Raging Surf booster box, which is $40. Okay. 10 of these, even though the value is going to make sense, is not equal one of those. So if you bought 10 of these, I highly doubt there's anyone who would want to trade you one of these for those 10. What's another example? If I have a Moonbreon PSA 10, what do they go for now? Like $600 or something? Just because someone has a Moonbreon doesn't mean they're willing to take my, 5 cards that would be of equal value for that Moonbreon. See what I'm saying? 4 quarters don't equal a dollar. And that's just a principle that people don't understand. And, I get spammed with this on Veriswap all the time. There are people who go through my most expensive cards, or not even most expensive, they'll go through my cards, and they will offer the exact value, if not 10% more, like dollar-wise, in like slabs for something that's expensive of mine. But they will offer literal junk, stuff that people wouldn't even buy. $50 slabs, $40 slabs, $30 slabs. Just stuff that like doesn't have any business really. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Stuff that just isn't very liquid, and you would have to trade 2 to 3x more value of that stuff in order to get something, in order to trade up. And this is a lesson. Why am I talking about it? It goes back to a dollar is a dollar. Just because you spent the money doesn't mean that someone else is going to value the same thing that you spent that money on. And this hobby is totally driven by liquidity, and things that are sold and traded all the time are the most desired, most valued. They're the best currency. Things like, this is, I guess I could find someone to buy this at the show. Okay, back. Sorry, phone died. I could probably find someone to buy this at the show. But the point is, it's not very liquid. And just because I paid, $100 for it, liquidity is everything. And that dollar that I spent, or that $100 that I spent, it's not equal to the $100 you could spend on like a Galarian, what's that card? Chilling Reign Galarian Moltres, right? Highly liquid, people want it. So that's just, learning lessons. And I think the more you get involved as a collector, as someone who builds up the collection and wants to trade it, you start to realize that, like, oh, the things that I find cool and interesting, although speaking of cool and interesting, in collectors buying random stuff, as I pull out a hip out on level X, you'll start to find that not everybody agrees with you. Not everybody thinks that certain cards are worth it. And you'll find out the hard way, and you'll get burned, because you'll realize that the hundreds of dollars that you spent on level X cards like this may or may not one day be worth it, because no one wants them. That's me, by the way. I'm memeing on myself currently. Okay, I gotta pick up the pace, because for whatever reason I just decided to record this in 4K, and it's killing my battery. It's also killing my storage on my phone. So we're gonna speed this up. So yeah, going back to my goals, selling, being a business. This year, my goal, outside of, selling more than I did last year, which was around 6 figures, more than 6 figures. My goal this year is really to retain a high margin of about 30% on everything that I buy and sell. And, probably asking like, oh, that doesn't seem hard, or, why just that goal? For me, it's being consistent is not the easiest thing. And I'm trying to find something to be consistent at that I know that I know is hard enough for me to do, but I know I can achieve it if I work hard. This is for the PC, by the way. And before, I would just buy stuff. Cool cards, this is great. And then figure out later how to sell it. Now, everything that I buy to resell, most of the stuff I buy to resell, I approach it with a very particular lens. Am I able to make at least this percentage on it? If I'm not able to, I ask myself the tough questions. Why do I want it? Why do I need it? What's my plan for it? Worst case scenario, what happens if I don't sell it? And, those are questions and prompts I did not push on myself before. I'm doing it now because I think that's going to help me scale, and it's going to help me make better decisions for this business. So that's this year, right? I'm going to grow the revenue. I think I should easily be able to do that. I'm already on track to crush last year. This year's goal, retain a margin percentage. Next year, I already have a goal in mind, and that is building upon the margin percentage. It's going to be a minimum margin per transaction, dollar amount. So the absolute value. And no. Is this the same seller who shipped this? Who shipped the other one? Really? Okay, let's see. Did they dupe us? It's sometimes not that easy to see on these cards. And on the camera, you guys might see something different than me. So I got these with the intention to grade and resell, because I already obviously have a 10 of each. I actually have some friends who've been looking for these cards for a while, so I think what I'll do is I'll grade them, and if they're 10s, I will hook some friends up. So next year's goals. Minimum margin amount. I don't know what that amount is just yet, but I want to chop it up by percentage of revenue. So let's say I sell $500,000 worth next year, which is doable, I think. I want at least 50% to be $30 margin. So 50% of that number, 250,000, I want that $250,000 to come from transactions that each generate at least $30 in margin, net margin. That's a lofty goal. I don't think that's going to be easy. That's going to change how I source, what I sell, how I focus my time. But I think if I, what's really important to me as I look through this Stormfront Zard, also unlimited, I have a 10. Right there. Is he going to 10? Let's play the fun game of will it 10. The top has some edge wear. I've seen worse get 10s. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So yeah, if I can scale the business that way, I'll be happy. I do approach this a little bit different than most people in that I actually don't want to work more. I don't want to spend more time. I already spend enough time. I want to try to increase the amount of revenue I get and not have to spend as much time slaving away at sorting and eBay and vending and just stuff that I'm fortunate now. In my free time, I work from home. I plop over. I can do some card stuff. I can go back to work. That kind of stuff. I'm very fortunate I can do that. In the future, though, as the kid gets older, I don't want to be spending all my time on cardboard. I want to spend as little time as I need to get the most satisfaction out of the cardboard. You guys are probably saying, this guy is just yapping as he pulls out 2 Espeon VMAXs. I think that's the dream for me. Can I continue to enjoy this? Collecting, selling, running a business, getting involved with the community, and not have to spend too many hours a week or in a day just being involved. That's really what I'm trying to solve for. And if it means I won't grow revenue that fast, I think that's okay. If it means I need to slow down a bit, I think that's okay too. It's important for me to continue to do this, that I enjoy it. And so far, no complaints outside of I am seeing. You guys are probably thinking, who is this? What is this guy doing? He's just throwing garbage everywhere. Is this how he treats his cards? No. I would treat them way worse. Ugh, what the? This is a beautiful Darkrai from the Mythical Legendary Dream Shine collection. I have slowly become a Darkrai fan, and I'm not sure what caused it. That one should be going to the PC, by the way. I say should be because if someone offered me more than I paid, I would probably consider it. Here's another beauty. Super Legend Yveltal EX. Fun fact, this comes in a gift box thing. The Super Legend set's like a dual box 2-deck kit. It has Xerneas and it has, it has these guys. One of each. Very cool. This one's going into the shop and will be sold. And it will probably sell pretty quick. Those X and Y PSA 10s are no joke. People like them a lot. But yeah, so my question to you, you've made it this far. You're crazy, by the way. What keeps you excited in this hobby? Why do you continue to tune in? Why do you continue to show up every day, buy cards, trade? What part of the hobby do you enjoy the most? For me, nowadays, I get a lot of enjoyment just finding new things and nooks and crannies of the hobby that people aren't talking about. I think that's probably why I like Japanese so much. It really motivates me when I can learn something new. It's inspirational, right? I can look around and see that there's stuff that people are not talking about that's like new, and it's exciting. More T-tars. That's cool to me, you know. That's what gets me up. I think I know what this is. Maybe that's the video for next time. What do I enjoy in the hobby, and what keeps me going? Okay, I think, oh yes, this is what I've been waiting for. So there's a weird story with this Espeon. I bought this Espeon, and in the listing, when it sold, this seller changed the photos to first edition, and it was a different slab, and I was so confused. Because when I bought it, I remember explicitly that it was an unlimited version of Espeon. This is going to my buddy Kyle. I'm selling it to him at cost because I know he's an unlimited collector, and he's helped me out a lot lately because he's I've consigned with him, and he, you know, always a homie. Which reminds me, always take care of the people who take care of you. It's not because favors will come back your way. It's because, you know, there's always someone out there who's looking after you. What is this? Oh, these are just like random bonus cards. I like how they include this. Their duo. All right. This is officially the last package. And I believe this is actually not even mine. This is for my buddy Adrian. So let's see. I gotta be careful here. Let us see what this is about. I actually don't even know what he bought. He just sent me a link and said, like, hey, can you get this for me? And I said yes. Okay, I have to cut it open. So let's see. So I got some video ideas coming up for the vending show. What the So I just cut that. Okay. I am so confused. This is definitely not what I bought. Oh, okay. Whew. Hopefully Adrian did not watch this video because I almost cut through his box. These are... Whoa, fascinating. So this is a promo Players Club. There's promos in here. I'm not going to open it because it's his. But I've never seen something like this shipped before. It's like a wooden... Fascinating. So you open it... What? I guess it's taped here? And the hinges? That's cool. I don't know what promos come with this, what version this is. Because there are a lot of different promos that come from this Daisuke Club. Anyway, so videos coming. I'm going to do a vendor setup. I'm also going to do a vendor recording. I'm excited for that. It's going to be next weekend. So I'll do a setup video for that. I'll do a preparation video, and I'll show everything that I plan on selling. It's going to be all priced out. Walk you guys through what I'm bringing. And then I think I'll have another sorting video coming later this week. So if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. Any comments or questions, let me know how I can help. But yeah, thank you for all the support as of late, and thanks for bearing with my super messy workstation. So thank you guys for the time. Appreciate it, and take care of yourselves. Peace.